pummel him to pieces!
Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're having an awesome day. And today we're going to pummel him to pieces as we do our Guzma and Ariados sync grid guide. We're going to go through his kit. We're going to go through how to unlock him and max him out. And also a couple of lucky skills and grids to maximize his full potential and wreak perfect destruction. Timestamps down below if you want to skip to anywhere in particular. Without further ado, let's get into it. And thank you. That was a good Guzma impression. I agree. So to unlock him, we basically have to summon on a couple of banners to unlock him. At the moment, he is featured in a variety tiered scout and a double feature variety scout here as well because of the Lovable Numbskull rerun event that's on right now, which I think is when he was added in, alongside with Plumeria and Gengar. So you can just summon on these banners here. If you do the tiered scout, once you get to the scout 11 there, you can basically just pick whoever you want. You can pick your Guzma and Ariados up there if you need him. In terms of upgrading his move level, if you don't want to summon on the banner anymore, you can just use a 5-star support candy to upgrade that if you need him to. You just need to get him to 3 out of 5 so you can unlock his full kit. He's not a striker or anything like that. He does have a tech cake if you want to put that on as well. But for the most part, use him as a really good tank. So you only need to get him 3 out of 5, and then that's pretty much all the investment you'll need. And for his themes, he is a support unit, so anything to increase his health will be nice. Bug, Alola, Villain, and Sunglasses, because he's got those wonky sunglasses on his head. And in terms of his kit, while he is a support unit and he does help his team a lot, he does have a lot of tech bonuses as well, and I think that's why they gave him the tech cake there. Not really super helpful in the grand scheme of things. So first off, we have Poison Sting. A 30% chance of leaving the target poisoned. Basically, it's just a 1-gauge move. Hit the target, get them poisoned, they take damage over time. That's pretty much all you're going to use it for. Die Hit All Plus will increase the crit rate by 2 of all allied sync pairs, so just use this to up everyone's crit. The good thing about this is your crit rate will max out at a +3, so you're going to max out your crit rate with this on all of your units, so it just saves you having to build that up on if you don't have it. Struggle Bug will hit everyone on the team. It is a special move, which is a little strange when you know that Poison Sting is a physical one, so it's like, what do you want to do, you know? Lowers the target's special attack by 1 stat rank. You might think that's not really super important, but when we get into his passives, it's going to make a lot more sense. And Put Standing Around. Raise the attack and special attack of all allied sync pairs by 2 stat ranks, so it's +2 because it's only 1 use. Increase the physical and special move next of all allied sync pairs by 1. So that's going to increase their physical or their special moves, whatever they use, and just get some extra damage out, which is nice. That's probably the only thing really that would count as a support part of his kit, if we don't talk about his grid. And for his sync move, Shake Things Up Savage Spin Out, he is a support unit, so if you do EX him, you will get the double sync buff when you use it, and if you give him the tech cake as well, it will increase the damage of his sync move. Not that you're really building him for damage, but I suppose it's nice. For the most part, I'm just going to throw it in here now. Don't put the tech cake on him. You're not going to use him as a tech unit. For his passives, this is why he's one of my favorite units in the game. We have Overwhelm 9, which is going to lower the target's attack by 1 stat rank whenever you use an attack move against them. Remember, Struggle Bug will hit everyone on the team and lower their special attack. So while you're doing that, you're also going to be lowering their attack as well. And you know what? They might move a little fast for you. So let's get Trip Up 9 as well to lower their speed. When you're using Struggle Bug, you're going to be lowering their attack, their special attack, and their speed. The 3 most useful things that they're going to be using against you. You just bring them all down, just passively. On top of that, you have Poison as well. It's only 30% though. Psych, it's actually 60. You have Hostile Environment 3, which is going to increase the chance of you getting the poison on the enemy with your Poison Sting, which means they get poisoned. They're going to be taking more damage over time. And while they're hitting you, you're just going to be sitting there going, all right, now we're going to lower all of your other stats as well. The only problem is he doesn't have a lot of healing on his kit. If you can get a healer in or something just to buff up defenses, he's pretty much unkillable. And for his lucky skill, if you do the Lovable Numbskulls event, you will get his specific lucky cookie, which will give him hit poisoned opponent health recovery 9, so it's just a guarantee basically. Restore the user's health when an attack move is successful against a poisoned or badly poisoned opponent. Basically, if you hit an enemy and they're poisoned, you're going to get some health back, which is really nice. On top of that, you'll be healing yourself. They'll be taking damage because they're poisoned. And you're also lowering their attack, their special attack, and their speed. You can see why he's one of my favorite support units. If you want, you can run Vigilance on him, but for the most part, you can get Vigilance on his grid. So if you go for that instead, you don't need to go that, just go to health recovery, and he pretty much becomes like a self-sustaining menace to the enemy. And for the most part, I haven't even looked at the other parts of his grids because I've used this ever since I've unlocked him and got him to 3 out of 5, and it has pretty much carried me through all of my champion stadiums whenever I've needed to use him. So this is by far the best grid, and I'm just going to call it the Tech Tank build. I don't really have a fancy name for it. We'll just call it, I don't know, Skull Menace. How about that? Why not? So we've got down here, we've got quit standing around, hit and heal. Will give yourself gradual healing whenever you use your quit standing around. Remember, that's going to increase everyone's attack. So use that just before someone uses a sync move. You're going to get some health regeneration as well, which is nice. It's basically just like, okay, I'm starting to take a bit of damage. Let's keep that healing coming back while we're also hitting the poisoned enemy. A lot of healing back just to keep us in the fight. Potent Toxin 2, because we're going to be poisoning our enemies, we want to make sure that they can feel it. It's going to increase the damage that they take whenever they're being poisoned or badly poisoned. So basically the damage over time will do a little bit more damage. Full Bracing, P move 9, raise the user's defense and special defense by 1 stat rank whenever you use a move. Remember, as we're using Poison Sting, we're going to be poisoning the enemy, upping our defenses as well. And then after that, we're going to be using Struggle Bug to lower their attack and their special attack and their speed as well, which is bonus. And on top of that, while we're doing that, we're buffing up our defenses as well. Even if they hit us with moves like Rock Smash or anything like that, we'll be able to just keep buffing up our defenses and keeping ourselves nice and tip-top with all the healing. You can, as I said, he's one of my favorite support units. I'm so happy about this. Natural Remedy and Quick Cure. Basically, if you get hit with any status condition or flinch, trap, or confuse, you will just completely clear it off yourself, which is really nice. 9 times out of 10, whenever I lose a unit, it's because they get poisoned or burned and I don't have a way to deal with it. So having the Natural Remedy and the Quick Cure there in his kit is going to be really nice. And Vigilance, he's a support unit. I usually use him as my main tank as well. So throwing Vigilance on to protect ourselves from critical hits is going to be really nice to mitigate as much damage coming our way while we're also obliterating the enemy, lowering all of their offensive stats, and buffing our defenses. Nothing can break through our shield. Let's say you unlock your Guzma Ariados and you don't have his specific cookie that gives him the hitting a poisoned opponent will give him health recovery, and you want a little bit of health recovery on him just to keep him in the fight. Run Vigilance and then run this build. This will give him a little bit of extra health recovery as well. Natural Remedy, removing all status conditions is going to be really nice. As I said, 9 times out of 10, fire, poison, anything like that, that's what kind of knocks you out. So having Natural Remedy just cleanse it without having to bring a unit in to deal with that is going to be really nice. Full Bracing, P move 9 is just really good to get because you're going to be lowering their offensive stats passively with your Struggle Bug. Increasing your defenses on your own is going to be really nice, especially since it's passive. You don't have to use any move gauge. You don't need to get another Pokemon to help you do that. It just does it passively. It's in his kit. You can focus on dealing damage. Potent Toxin, while it's not super important to get for this one, he's not really there to deal damage, but because we're going to be poisoning them anyway, getting the poison on the enemy and then increasing the damage of that tick, sometimes that means the difference between winning and losing. Sync Damage Guard will apply Damage Guard next to you whenever you use your sync move, and because he's a support unit, you do want to kind of get his sync move out as soon as possible so you can get that double buff bonus if you 6-star him, of course. So getting this will be really nice. Basically, he can just tank the next hit coming his way, or the worst case, if you do it right before their sync move, you take half damage. So that'll give you a little bit of extra survivability, you know? And Sync Move Team Health Recovery M1. I don't really know what the M means, but sure, we'll just go with it. Restores the health of everyone by 20% whenever you use your Sync Move. So the good thing about this is just a team-wide heal of 20% whenever you use your Sync Move. Not a first time, not a specific way to do it. Sync Move, heal. That's what you get. Really good in case you just need that last, you know, you're in that last stretch. You just need a couple more hits to knock them out. Use this one, get the health recovery, keep everyone in the fight, and win the battle. Moving on to Honourable Mentions, Poison Sting. It's a 1-gauge move. Putting effort into a 1-gauge move gauge refresh is just completely useless to me, especially when it's 70 energy. There are way more better things you could pick up. Quit standing around, MP refresh. For the most part, I skip over this. For most units, they can up their own attacks whenever they need them. So getting this to up that is not really super important. If anything, you can make an argument if you get this and hit and heal to keep that gradual healing coming back. But by the time that's going to come into effect, the battle's pretty much going to be over. Quit standing around, Team Brain Gain. It's going to increase everyone's special move next up by another 1 whenever you use Quit Standing Around. And remember, you get that already, so you get a +2 for your special moves whenever you use it. Good for extra damage output, but for the most part, as I said, he's really, really good as a tank. I think you should be using him like that. But if you want to use him as like an offensive support, you could pick this up, it's not a problem. Struggle Bug, Move Gauge Refresh 9. The only good thing about this is that you're going to be guaranteed that bar back. If you have a 70 energy grid, you've got everything else unlocked that you need, you could pick this up and make an easy argument for it. You're going to be hitting everyone on the team, lowering all of their stats, and then getting constant move gauge back to make sure those big damaging moves can go out there. Die Hit All plus MP Refresh 2. Unless you're running a rally, and even then it's really not worth it, getting a refresh on a Die Hit Plus is not really going to be super helpful just because it's going to max out everyone's crit whenever you use it anyway. And even if you only use it once, that's still 80%. 4 times out of 5, I'll take it. Quit standing around, Team Brawn Gain. It's basically the same thing as Brain Gain, but for your physical moves next. Again, if you want to use him as an offensive support, you can make an argument for it. I just find him to be a really good tank and that's really what I want to focus on. Agile entry 1 is 8 energy for a +1 evasion. I just don't really think that's really useful. If I needed evasion on anything, I would just bring a support in to up that or lower the target's accuracy. And lastly, impervious. Now you might think, well, that's pretty good, not lowering your stats. Here's the problem. Your offensive stats aren't really super important because, again, you're using primarily as a support unit, so you're going to be lowering all of their offensive stats. If they lower your offensive stats, it's not really a big deal. It's more the utility of lowering all their stats. That's what you're using Struggle Bug in that for. And then worst case, they start lowering your defenses. You can build that up anyway with your full bracing P move anyway. So unless they're just constantly knocking it down to -6, impervious is not going to help. And that's it for our Guzma and Ariados Synchrid guide. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know down below if I gave you some Synchrid ideas for him, and also let me know down below if you're going to go for him, try and max him out, or at least get him 3 out of 5, and any other Synchrid ideas you want to see on him as well. As I said, he's a really, really good tank. Once I understood how his kit worked, lowering everyone's stats, buffing his own, put on that lucky cookie with the health recovery, my goodness, he was a force to be reckoned with. I'll put it this way. In my early runs when I was doing my Champion Stadium when I came back, I was literally sitting there going, can I beat this without Guzma and Ariados? That's what it was. He was carrying me through Champion Stadium for so long. And I was just like, yep, he's one of my favorite units because every time I use him, it's always just a joy to watch the targets just tick over with the poison, lower all their stats. They barely hit you with any damage. And when they do hit you, you just basically heal it anyway through the poison. It's beautiful. The only real gripe I have with him, he has a tech cake. It doesn't really make sense. Like, he doesn't do a lot of damage with his sync move. He doesn't have any, like, if the target's special attack is lowered, or if the target's poisoned or anything like that, do more damage with your sync move. It's just like tech cake because he lowers their stats. I wish it was something else, but, you know, that's just me kind of, as I said, minor gripe for basically an S tier unit. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.